perfect. The best thing we need to do at this point is to sign in, right? There's a couple places we could sign in. Let's do that now. So I'm going to use the big button here. You could also use this button up at the top, but I'll just go ahead and click on that. And now you need to log in with your Esri global account. Okay, so a lot of you have already created this when you were installing the ArcMap software. Use the same credentials to log in here. If you forget your username or password, you can click these and it will send you, the little updates on your email. If you haven't done it yet, that's okay. You can do it right now, and it's very easy to do. Just go to create an account, and it's a very simple little page. Follow through it, and then use the instructions just like anything, and it will create an account for you. You have to have an account to log into ArcGIS Online. Okay, so I'm using one that I was doing kind of as a test, and I'm using my business account, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. This is a free thing. Okay, so go ahead and do that now, and put in your credentials here, and click this sign in button. And this is your ArcGIS Online landing page. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this in a minute. I did find a nice YouTube video from a different professor that explains how we can digitize features on the map, and essentially, create the same type of thing of what we did in Lab 4. So I'm going to show that now, and then I'll come back in about 5 minutes.
Welcome to the video tutorial on how to create and save features in ArcGIS Online. To begin, go to arcgis.com. In the top right-hand corner, you'll notice a Sign In button. Sign in with your Esri Global username and password. If you do not yet have one, you can create a free public account, which will give you 2 gigabytes of free storage space to save and share maps. In the home page of ArcGIS Online, in the top banner, click on Map to go to the ArcGIS Online Map Viewer. Within the Map Viewer, you can use your mouse to pan, scroll, and zoom to a location of your choice around the world. You can also choose to change the background base map. You can choose from 9 base maps, including imagery base maps or topographic base maps. Today we'll be learning how to create features. Go to Add and choose to add map notes. Map notes will allow you to create features on your map. Type an applicable name for the type of feature that you will be creating on your map. In this case, we'll be creating schools. You'll notice you have 3 options for features that you can now add to your map, including points, lines, and polygons. Let's further zoom into a location using the search toolbar to type in a place name or a point of interest. This takes us to the general area, and then you can use your mouse to further zoom into the exact location. To create our feature, we're going to use the imagery base map as our reference. To begin, we're going to draw the school boundary. We're going to use the area feature, and we're going to begin drawing by clicking anywhere on the map. To continue tracing your feature, click on the map to change direction. This will add vertices to your feature. You can create any type of feature in ArcGIS Online, and when you are done, simply double-click. And this will give you the option to add attributes to your feature, including a title, a description. You can also include a link to a URL for an image, or a link to a website. Next, we'll click Change Symbol, and in here we'll change the look and feel of our data. You can change the color, width, or transparency of your feature. And when you are done, simply click Apply and Done. When you're done adding features, click Edit. Now, when you click on a feature, you will note the pop-up that has the information you just added. You can click on the image, which will take you to the URL you added to your attributes. Going forward, you can add points, lines, and polygons to your map. Here's an example of a map that I made with a school boundary, a track, and also a one-way road. Now we are ready to save our map. To save your map, simply go to the Save icon on the top of your page. Choose an appropriate title for your map. Add some tags for your map, which are like keywords to search for your map. Add an applicable summary, and then click Save Map. As you save your map, your title will now be updated to the title that you just included. Now it's time for you to have your go at creating features in ArcGIS Online. If you need any help, please feel free to contact us at education@esri.ca. And of course, you can always search for our lessons, tutorials, and more videos like this at esri.ca/lesson planner.
All right, great. So you just saw, right? It doesn't actually take too much, and I'm about to demonstrate that now. So here I am in my ArcGIS Online main page, and the instructor had you guys click map, so you can do that. But I've already created one, okay? So I'm not going to do that now. Anytime you click map, it's going to create a brand new one for you. I've already made an example. So for you guys, I want you to create map. For what I'm going to show you, it's where all the other maps I've created are saved, and then I'm going to go into it. So if I go to content, this is like a little folder where all of my maps are saved, okay? And so I've created one here called, let me move this. I've created one here called Chabot example. And if I click on it, we'll come back to this main page here in a minute because this is an important place. But now I can access a map that I've previously created by, there's a few places I can click on Open in Map Viewer, or I could click this little thing here. Map Viewer is where we're trying to go, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna just click on this. And like the video we just watched, here is my example where I created a little simple map of Chabot College for you guys to check out. So like they mentioned, what you need to do here is first, before we get into creating actual features, remember I do want to put some limitations on how much of an area you should be mapping. But honestly, at this point, here's the thing. Because I know that some of you have some very expansive areas that you had in mind. And I really don't want to hold anybody back. And now that I am seeing this approach, and by the way, I am learning about this too as I'm going. This is a pretty new experience for me. So understanding how simple this is going to be, I mean, frankly, I'm happy if you guys do, as large of an area as you feel you can do. It's a matter of getting it done with enough time to, finish it by the end of the semester. I want you to learn the techniques and the process. That's always the number one thing to me. It's not necessarily about quantity, it's about quality and what you take away from this and the lesson itself. So yeah, if you can map, a few acres in size and you can get good at that, you should be able to map a few hundred acres in size. Doesn't really matter, honestly. Let me show you now, so instead of using Google Earth to create that little boundary that I was trying to keep you guys in, you can use directly in Arc Online this thing called Measure, okay? And I'm going to change my base map because I've been kind of toying with different backgrounds here to see what really pops. But if I choose base map first and I go to my imagery, by the way, I can also type in the name. This is another convenient thing about being online. If you know like the name of the landmark, let's say it's Disneyland for an example, and I just type that in, boom, it takes me right to Disneyland and I can start mapping Disneyland. So that's convenient. But for what I'm talking about, it's going to be Chabot College, and I just type that in, boom, there I am, okay? So what I wanted to mention here is I've got my imagery in the background, and like before, I had a limit of 1.5 miles of perimeter, okay? And if I use this measure button, and I have two options. I can measure either an area or I can measure a distance. Go ahead and choose the distance one, and then choose the miles as your unit, okay? Now, the idea is to use the left click of the mouse and just start clicking on the mouse. And as you click on the mouse, you're gonna get this blue line, and notice that in real time, it's giving me the measurement that I can kind of use as a reference. So I'm kind of just blindly scrolling through here until I get to around that 1.5 miles, something like that, okay? And when I'm done, I double click my mouse, and there is my measurement. It's just gonna be there. If I click something else, it goes away, okay? And it starts a new one for me. The whole thing that I was trying to showcase for you guys was, let's say I wanted to do something like this around the Chabot campus. And so there I go, and there I go, and there I go, okay? And now this is not a perfect science, and this is some of the drawbacks of being in ArcGIS Online, is that not everything kind of sticks like it does in ArcMap. But the whole purpose of this, I just want you guys to get a rough idea, okay? And so now I have a pretty rough idea that that is 1.5 miles, and I can go to my add map notes, and let's see if it will save this for me. Boundary 1, create. So instantly the blue line goes away. So that's kind of the negative about this. Frankly, I'm just looking for you guys to kind of eyeball this. I'm not really going to grade you if it's exactly 1.5 miles, whatever, like I said, okay? I just want you to have some kind of consistency with what is the extent and where is the boundary that you're trying to map. So what I've done, okay, this details button here on the top, that's like going to your table of contents. And so I have already created something called boundary, which is this red line here, okay? This red, it's actually a polygon, okay, called boundary. I'm gonna get rid of boundary 1 because that's kind of a blank layer. To delete a layer, you just simply click on the name, and notice there's not a whole bunch of other stuff. But if you click on the little dots, that's like doing a right click, and then we can remove it. I don't need boundary 1. I already created a regular boundary, right? So I'm gonna remove that. Here's some other examples to showcase to you guys. So I've created a few layers already that are polygons and a line. I've got a parking layer, and there's no selection or anything like that so far, but if I click on parking or fields or boundary or buildings, for example, here is my parking, 1 of 2. If I drop that down, no, that's boundary, lot 1. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you guys. You saw in the video how to create new features. So to do that, it's add here, map notes. Okay, that's what we want to do every time. That's what I'm expecting you guys to do. When you go to map notes, you can give it a unique name. That's going to be the name of the layer itself. The features within the layer, you can give those unique names as well. So map notes, we definitely don't want it to be called map notes. Let's go ahead and change that. How about I call it pool or pools, okay? Now the templates, you can use map notes. Frankly, I want you guys to use that the most. But what's really neat about this ArcGIS Online is there are a whole bunch of other really unique symbols built in here that, frankly, I've only spent about 5 minutes looking at. And if you want to explore all of these other types of symbols, by all means, you are welcome to go to town here, okay? And just enjoy creating and get creative at creating whatever you want to do as far as digitizing is concerned. Remember, though, we are trying to make a presentable map, so don't overcomplicate things. That's the best advice I can give you. Using map notes is going to give you the examples of, and we say create, the examples like was in the video, kind of the simple, if it's polygons, you can do like basic stuff here, or if it's a line or a point. That's the nice thing about this. It actually does just let you choose which you want to do, points, lines, or polygons. So yeah, pools. Oh, by the way, okay, so I just figured it out actually. If I wanted to add something to pools, which is completely blank right now, I could go pools. Okay, see how it says pools, points, pools, text, or pools, lines, or areas. Also text, that's another nice thing you could do if you want to add labels to this. I'll let you guys figure that stuff out. That's pretty straightforward. But let's say I want to do pools areas. So I found a pool here, and I'm gonna go ahead and create, I could do a rectangle. Let's go ahead and just use the regular polygon. And I'm going to click, 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 and then double click as it says. And if I can't really see it, but if I move my mouse, well, that's okay, it'll come back. This is what I mean by you can name multiple features different names. So in this case, it would be pools, I'll just call it pool 1, okay? Now, I don't expect you guys to put links and all this other stuff. If you want, you can. It'll be neat for me to check out, but I don't really necessarily looking for that. The other drawback of doing it this way is that we don't have the attribute table open to us. This is like creating separate records each time you add a new feature to a layer. So it's kind of like that. I'll show you here after we get through this how this can be exported to ArcMap, and then of course you can do other things like attribute tables, etc. For right now, this is just a simple way to make this happen. So if I'm going to go ahead and say pools 1 and I say close, okay, there is my layer for pools 1. Now, having it be kind of this transparent green, you know, that doesn't really pop out to me. So I'm going to go to the change symbol like they showed in the video. And again, this is the only symbology we have at our disposal when it's related to outlines, related to polygons. So again, not as much as we get in ArcMap, but that's okay for what we're trying to do. For a pool, let's go ahead and make it something blue, and then, you know, play around with this. Change the transparency around. I'll make it kind of a solid like that. Say okay, and close. And so there's my pool. Okay, whoops, close. There's my pool. Okay. Now each one of these, if say I did not like the color I have there for that, I just click on it and I can say change symbol, or I could change the name, or change the description, or I could just delete it if I wanted, right? There's a whole bunch of different things you could do here. If I wanted to, so let me back up for a second and go to details. Notice I've got pools, parking lots, fields, boundaries, buildings, etc. To add a brand new layer, just like we just mentioned, add here, add map nodes. To add existing features to a layer that's already, or to add new features to a layer that's already there. Like say, for example, I wanted to add a new field I've already got a layer there, right? A new feature that's a field, like say this baseball diamond, for example. This time I go to edit, and then I would scroll down and find my fields here and simply add an area for fields. Okay, and I'll just draw out this new baseball diamond. Okay, the thing that's annoying to me, and I haven't figured this out, and if you guys can figure it out, that's great, is that you have to set the symbol up every single time. It doesn't just store the same symbol for every single feature that you put in place. but it does save the colors. So here is my yellow that I've saved for the other athletic fields I've got. And then I've made them not transparent at all. And I say, okay. And then I guess I should call this baseball 3 because I've already got baseball 1 and 2 close. Okay. So now I've got 1, 2, actually I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fields. I've got a pool. I've got buildings. I've got some parking lots. Okay. And I just call them lot 1 or lot 2, close. And then I also did the street, Hesperian Boulevard. And that was pretty straightforward. It was just a matter of adding, and then instead of an area, I added a line. So you guys can do points, lines, polygons, whatever you want, okay? The idea is for you to map out the extent, like we mentioned, like the instructions say in Lab 4. I'm gonna, stop now. There's no point for me to map this whole thing. That's not what you guys need to see. Something that you'll find useful for presentation purpose, if you change your base map from the imagery is extremely useful when you're actually doing the digitization process. But to compare what the vectors then look like in without having the imagery kind of let's say clutter things after you've got the map all figured out, choose one of these other ones just for the sake of it. Try it out. Something like, oh, I don't know. I seem to be drawn to this white background, the human geography white one, and then see how it makes my layers really pop out. That's what I was trying to communicate there. Again, I want you guys to have fun with this. There's a lot more flexibility here and a lot less room for error, in my opinion, doing it this way. And you should be able to get in and create these layers and essentially create this whole map much faster than the other way we were trying to figure that out. Now, before we're done here, go ahead and give this a unique name. So really the best thing to do would be to put like your last name and then say maybe the site name or the landmark name or something like that, right? So I should say Miller Chabot example, save, okay? So there's my map, and just for good measure, I'm gonna go ahead and click this save also and click save here. Saving map to my content. Now it is, and this is the great thing, everything is now in the Esri cloud, and I have a little bucket of 2 gigabytes just by creating my Esri account. Boom, I can go in and save all these different maps directly in the Esri cloud, and I never have to worry about zipping or running out of storage or flash drives or anything like that, okay? So we're done with that part.